What's good, Sixers fans? This is your boy, DeShields II, and y'all are tuned into your dose of Chalk It Up, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just gotta charge it to the game. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and please go check out the Chalk It Up merch shop as well. I'd be so grateful for that. All the links to support the channel are available in the description below. But without further ado, let's hop right into the content. Now I want to discuss the underwhelming victory over the Brooklyn Nets. Let's be honest, the Philadelphia 76ers dominated that game pretty much from beginning to end. We couldn't really do much with Kyrie Irving. He was doing his thing. He ended up dropping, I want to say, 37 points on the night. But the bottom line is that game got too close to call at the end. That game should have never been as close as it was in that fourth quarter, especially when Kyrie Irving didn't play the final 8 minutes. And on top of that, they were without other starters, such as Kevin Durant, James Harden, Blake Griffin, and LaMarcus Aldridge. A side note to LaMarcus Aldridge, he recently retired today because he had an irregular heartbeat. So prayers to him, and I hope he, gets the treatment he needs. But back to the game, the Sixers really disappointed me in that final stretch. And it wasn't even because of the starters. The reserves really didn't close the deal, and we had to bring in Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid back into the fold in those final 5 minutes of the game to salvage the win. And I got to be honest, those Brooklyn reserves are gritty. They were playing fast, faster than us. They were flying to the ball, flying to the rebounds. It just seemed like they were playing at an entirely different speed than us in those final 5 minutes of the game. But thank God for Ben Simmons, and thank God for Joel Embiid for coming in and just being a presence on defense. Because let's be honest, Embiid only scored 2 points after checking back in. He had a lot of defensive stops, key defensive stops, and same thing with Ben Simmons, key defensive stops. But this Sixers team cannot allow themselves to be caught slipping like that, especially when you're going against an undermanned Brooklyn Nets team. Let's be very clear. The Brooklyn Nets are a formidable opponent. They got all-stars all across the board. They may not be as deep, but let's be honest. We saw how deep they were with this roster and the way they was giving the Sixers the business in the fourth quarter. I think they went on like a 20-2 run at one point. It was bad for us. We couldn't score. We took our foot off the gas, and that's my problem with with these Philadelphia 76ers. That's happened one too many times, and it was kind of resemblance to the Brett Brown era of the Philadelphia 76ers, and that's not a good look. Doc Rivers was extremely disappointed, but he knows they're going to be ready. And this boils down to a more important topic. At this point in the season, I believe the standings are pretty much what they're going to be. Now, that first and second seed may be up for grabs in the East, but I believe everything else is pretty much going to be what it's going to be. But like I said, this brings us to a much deeper topic, the psychology of this section of the season. This is the final stretch of the season. There are about 17 games left for the Sixers, and we're at that point now where it's about the psychology of the game, the psychology of the players. Brooklyn, I don't care what they say. I know they're resting KD. I know all of that. I know they were resting Blake. I get it. I know James Harden dealing with an injury. I get it. Kyrie Irving sometimes plays, sometimes he doesn't. I get all that. They never really play at full strength. But this is the third time in a row when we played them and they weren't at full strength. And I'm starting to become disrespected. Sure, there are things going on with health, and this has been a very turbulent year with health with a bunch of guys this year. Shout out to Jamal Murray. I hope he gets well from that torn ACL. But the Brooklyn Nets are trying to play a psychology game. I don't care what anyone says. I know Steve Nash says we're not trying to get cute. We're just trying to make sure we're here for the long haul. Okay, I'll bite. But in my humble opinion, this is more about the psychology behind the game more than ever for these Sixers. Because let's be honest, this is the best Sixers team we've seen in a long time. Now, we do understand we probably have more interesting rosters because of, the underwhelming performance of the Brett Brown era. But nonetheless, this is a really great Sixers team. And we have a chance to really go far. The Brooklyn Nets are honestly my only threat. Our only threat. I'm not really afraid of the Milwaukee Bucks. They just are pretenders to me, like I've said before. This Sixers team is going to have to dig much deeper into their bag of tricks when it comes to their mentals. when it comes to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I don't see anybody seeing this. I just don't. I don't see Atlanta seeing this. I don't see Charlotte seeing this. But the Philadelphia 76ers have to be mindful of what the Brooklyn Nets are trying to do. I firmly believe that the Brooklyn Nets are just lulling their way into the playoffs, and then they're going to just unleash the hounds. But here's my thing about Brooklyn. Chemistry is important. This season for them is starting to remind me of the season last year for the Clippers. Their stars barely played together. Their stars barely played at all. They were a little managing like crazy. You know, they had a bunch of different things going on, so many different distractions, which comes with having bigger names on your team. But this Brooklyn Nets team, they're undervaluing chemistry. And that's what separates the Sixers from those guys. Our chemistry is tremendous. Our chemistry is beyond theirs. The problem with the Brooklyn Nets, if the shots aren't going in, they have a hard time playing in that half court. If Irving isn't creating, they have a hard time playing in that half court. That's just my opinion. That's just what it looks like to me. Now, of course, KD and James Harden are going to be back, and they are the orchestrators. But in the playoffs, things are going to get tighter. That court is going to get smaller. You guys are going to have to start playing real defense, and that's where we got the Brooklyn Nets beat. I firmly believe the Sixers can bounce back from this underwhelming victory, but they can't hang their hat on it. They can't allow it to alter how they approach Brooklyn going forward. Brooklyn's going to come with the mess, and we got to be willing to clean it up. It's just that simple. But that's all I have for you guys today when it comes to the Sixers and the Brooklyn Nets game. I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II, and y'all have been tuning to your dose to chalk it up, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe for more content. One love, and let's go Sixers.